Hey guys, it's Charlie, and in today's video, I'll be showing you exactly how to use GoHighLevel. This is going to be a complete beginner's tutorial going over everything you need to know about HighLevel, all the features, the pricing, and if you watch this entire video, you'll have a great foundation and understanding of how to use the software, just how powerful it is, and trust me, we're going to cover a lot of things. So if you're clicking on this video and you're thinking this is such an advanced software, there's so many different things to learn, well, don't worry, I'll take you through everything. It's actually a lot easier to learn than most people think. If you're not too familiar with GoHighLevel, it is a CRM and marketing software that basically allows you to run your entire business. And I've been using it for almost 1 year now for one of my companies, Paired Recruiting. We're an overseas staffing company and it's been absolutely amazing. I also just started using it for my whole media business. And I'm telling you, any other business I start, I'm gonna be using GoHighLevel to run it. That's how great it is. It really is like an all-in-one platform that can actually save you so much money. And if you guys use my link down below, you can actually get an exclusive 30-day trial. You'll also get my completely free snapshot, which includes a lot of different pre-built templates that you will see in this video. So yeah, I'll have that link down below. Okay, so you are a beginner to HighLevel and you want to know exactly how you can use it to run your business. First of all, I was in the exact same position as you before. I thought, wow, this software can do so much stuff. How am I going to learn everything? And I watched so many videos, but it was still pretty hard for me to figure it out. The number one thing you need to do, and the biggest thing I want you to take away from this video, is you need to get your hands dirty. You need to actually follow along and go through the software yourself. Try and build out things on your own. Don't just watch videos, because yes, you're going to learn things by watching videos, but the moment you start actually using the software yourself and clicking around, that's when everything really clicks. And within 1 day of just trying to use it myself and setting it up for my business, I had a pretty solid grasp on everything that you could do. And so I really encourage you to do that. Don't just watch this video and think you're learning that way. The number one way to learn HighLevel is to actually build things out, click around, and explore the software yourself. So the first big thing that you guys need to know is that there are two main types of accounts. There's the starter plan, which is $97 per month, and there is the unlimited plan, which is $297 per month. So essentially what the difference is, the unlimited account, you can create as many sub accounts and client accounts as you want. You can literally create hundreds or thousands. You also get API access, and you also get the branded desktop app. So if you don't have an agency and you just want to use HighLevel for your one business, then the starter plan is going to be completely good enough. It has pretty much the same exact features, but if you have clients and you want to give them GoHighLevel accounts, or you want to actually help run your clients' marketing or CRM or whatever, you can create unlimited of those client accounts with that unlimited account. Now here you can see it's just a 14-day trial, but I have an exclusive deal for you guys. So if you want to use my link, you will get a 30-day extended trial plus my free snapshot, which is going to load a bunch of different templates that I've built out, which will give you a huge head start. Now I have the unlimited account. So basically this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Within your agency account, you can actually come here, click on this button, and here's where you're going to see all your sub accounts. So think of these sub accounts as your different businesses. If you have, let's say, 5 different businesses and they're all using HighLevel, then you can have a sub account for each business and you can switch between those businesses. Each is basically going to feel like a separate account. And in my agency dashboard, I can basically sort through these. I can add new businesses, whatever I want. And let's say I want to work on one specific business. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one and it's going to open up my sub account. So this is basically where we can actually work on this one specific business. So this is your main dashboard and you can essentially see your pipeline value, the value of the current clients you're working with, all that stuff. And this is a demo account, so it's not really going to have much information. But if you're a numbers person, this is a really great place to be. What I want you to do is come here to the launch pad. And this is where I always tell people to start out, because you can literally go through this, connect all of these different things, and you're going to learn a lot. So first thing is get their app. Yes, you can access GoHighLevel on your phone. It's really good. It's also going to have you set up your Google business profile. So I do recommend doing that if you want to receive reviews for your business. You should also connect your social media accounts. So for example, Facebook, that allows you to actually message people directly within HighLevel. And throughout this video, you'll hear me referring to the software as GoHighLevel or HighLevel. I sort of change between them, but it's the same thing. And some people prefer calling it one or the other. There's also the web chat widget. So if you want to have a little widget on your website that can talk to your customers, you can absolutely set that up. And there's also WhatsApp, which I recommend, especially if you have an international business. You'll also want to connect your Stripe account if you want to start accepting payments within HighLevel. You can also build your website directly in HighLevel with WordPress, so you can create that. And of course, you can add or remove team members. So yes, if you have a team, you don't want to give permissions to everyone on your team for everything. You might set specific permissions or give certain people access to certain businesses or whatever it is. That can all be done here. Now I want to take you through the conversations tab. This is basically a place where all of your conversations live. So we're talking email, we're talking SMS, we're talking messaging, Facebook, whatever it is, it can all be here. I love this because any type of client communication can all be sorted right here. You don't need to have email, you don't need to have SMS all separate. All of it goes to one place, which makes it a lot easier to track. And so yeah, think of it as a client conversations dashboard where all communication can be located right here. Next, we have the calendars section. If you have Calendly or any other calendar app, the great thing with HighLevel is that it is so many different softwares and platforms all combined into one. So actually for most people that switch to HighLevel, you're saving a ton of money, especially if you already have a lot of other subscriptions. They have this little section on their website that talks about all the different tools that HighLevel replaces. And so if you start adding these things up, it really adds to quite a huge savings. And a lot of people think like, okay, there's no way that HighLevel can do all these things well, but it actually does them quite well. And yes, you can replace a lot of these things. You can also incorporate them into your workflow. You don't need to get rid of them. Yeah, a lot of people find that HighLevel actually works quite well alongside some of their existing tools or platforms. So you don't need to switch everything out. It can also work alongside it. So yeah, going back to calendars, this is basically where your entire calendar lives. Think of it as Google Calendars or Apple Calendars. You can have all of them sync here so they all show up in one single location. We can create a new appointment by clicking on this button right here. We can select what calendar we're booking the appointment for, what the title is, which team member this appointment is for, set the time and all that stuff, and then click this. If you come here to appointments, you can see your upcoming appointments, canceled appointments, and these can be things like sales calls. It could be one-on-one meetings with your team. It could be one-on-one meetings with your clients. If we come here to calendar settings, here's basically where we can create different calendars. So, you know, if you have a sales presentation, that should probably be its own calendar. And what you'll do is click create calendar here. You can select the type of scheduling. So for example, with sales, we might want to do something like round robin, where it distributes appointments among team members in a rotating order. We'll set the name, select the different team members that it's going to rotate through. We can have a custom URL. We can set the meeting duration, set the availability, of course, and then click confirm. You're going to have a link here. We can click preview. And this is what the calendar looks like. As you can see, it looks just like any other calendar app. We can select a time, click select, have them enter in details. This can all be customized and then schedule the meeting. At any time, we can come in here, set our availability. We can customize this. We can add different connections to other calendars. So if you want to connect to your Gmail calendar or your Apple calendar, you can do that here. It can know your availability and not double book if you have a personal thing on your Google Calendar, whatever it is. So yeah, I love this calendar feature. Definitely recommend using it. Next up, let's talk about contacts. So GoHighLevel is a CRM, and all of your contacts, any type of lead, any type of warm lead, any current client, any past client, they're all going to be within here. So yeah, essentially anytime you collect anyone's information, it's going to show up in this contacts section. Now, one thing I really like about HighLevel is that they have smart lists. So it's a very intelligent way of categorizing your contacts. If I click on, let's say, any of these contacts, we can see pretty much any touch points we've had with this person. So you can see what pages they visited, what form they submitted. We can add different tags to them. So for example, this fake person, of course, since it's a demo account, submitted on the newsletter sign up form. So it's created this newsletter tag. We can also add new tags if we want. We can see all the automations that are happening with this contact. We can see any courses that they are in. So yes, within GoHighLevel, you can create and host courses. You can add people to different offers. These can be free or paid offers. You can add them to your community groups if you have those. You can also set them to do not disturb if you don't want to contact this person. You can see all your messaging right here. So SMS, WhatsApp, email. You can see the attribution. So first attribution was direct traffic. Yeah, this is a great place to visit. You can learn a lot about your clients. You can see who's warm, who's cold. And yeah, that's basically the contact section. So as you build your business, as you add people to your list, those people are going to show up here, and we can basically see everything we need to know about these people in the contact section. Okay, so next I want to talk about opportunities. This is basically going to be like a pipeline. So if you've used Notion or ClickUp, you'll know that you'll have these different columns, and you can basically move people from one column to the other. And each column is going to be a specific step status. So if you guys use my link, you're going to get this snapshot built in. It's going to be a pretty generic pipeline that is pre-installed. And if you come here to pipeline, you can see sales pipeline right here. We can edit this, but I want to show you guys how to create a new pipeline. If you click on this button right here, we can give our pipeline a name. So let's do another sales pipeline. We're going to add different stages. So one can be cold, one can be watched video. So if you have a video on your landing page, we can set that as a new stage. So yeah, I just gave it some random stage names. We'll click on save. And now this pipeline is going to show up here. If we come back here to opportunities, we can choose from our different pipelines. And for most people, they'll have like a sales pipeline. They might have a current clients pipeline. You can get pretty creative with the different pipelines you have within your business. And of course, it's going to be different for every single type of business. If we click on the one that we just made, we can add a new person to this pipeline. So we can choose from our list. Let's go ahead and choose this person. Click create. And now as they move from status to status, we can basically come here, drag and drop their name, and we can get a pretty good overview of what the status is for every single person that's within this pipeline. A lot of this can be automated as well. And yeah, just a very powerful and useful functionality for HighLevel. Next, we have the payment section. So yes, you can take payments directly within GoHighLevel. You can do all your invoicing and send out estimates. You can handle all your documents and contracts. So for example, at my overseas recruiting agency Paired, we do all of our contracts and documents within HighLevel. So we don't need to get DocuSign or anything like that. We basically create templates. We can send them out to clients. This can all be automated. Everything is stored within here. They can sign it on their end using HighLevel's doc signing functionality. That saves us a lot of money because we don't need to get separate subscriptions for that. We can send out payment links as well. We can handle all our subscriptions if we want. Of course, not every business is going to have subscriptions, but if yours does, that's a great part of HighLevel. You can even use HighLevel for e-commerce. So you can add different products. You can create different collections, see all your inventory, as well as handle reviews. You can create coupons as well. And of course, HighLevel is going to integrate with a lot of other platforms and software. So if you need additional functionality, you can absolutely integrate. So now I want to take you guys through the marketing tab. This is definitely a place where HighLevel shines, and I love to use this because you can basically manage all of your social media platforms in one single place, right? So if we connect our Facebook account for our business, we connect our Instagram account for our business, you want to connect your Google business profile, you can even connect your LinkedIn, if you have TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, whatever it is. And essentially, once we connect that here, we can use this to plan out and see all of our posts. We can schedule different posts to go out on different platforms. We can create posts directly within HighLevel. We can repost certain content to multiple platforms all easily. And so yeah, if you have a lot of social media accounts that you're managing for your business, all that can go here, and you can have one team member actually just use this and do all your marketing. HighLevel also has email functionality. So if you want to send out email campaigns, you can absolutely do that. They have a ton of templates that you can use to create your emails. For example, if you come here to Plus New, we can look at email marketing templates. They have a bunch of professionally made templates that we can start using right away. If you want to have an affiliate program for your company, you can also manage that here and create that here. If you click on Plus New, for example, we can create a new campaign. You can select the different products that apply to this specific campaign, set the commissions and all that stuff. We can also add new affiliates by coming here, entering their information, assigning them to whatever campaign we want them on. Brand boards is cool because you can basically have your colors, your logos, any other brand essentials here. And then ad manager, yes, this is an additional fee on top of your current HighLevel subscription, but you can manage all of your ads right here in one spot. Now let's move on to automation. So if you're using HighLevel, you absolutely need to use automations because this is what really makes a business a business. Now that I've learned HighLevel and I know just how powerful it is, whenever I meet a new entrepreneur, I always tell them, hey, look, you should learn how to use HighLevel. Even if you don't want to use it for your business, learning all the features within this platform is really going to make you think like a business owner. We're talking about like processes, systems, all these automations, because once you realize all the things you should be doing to map out your customer journey, market to them, all this stuff, you realize, okay, you need to actually do this to create a real sustainable business. Like learning all these features within HighLevel has definitely made me a better entrepreneur because it basically told me that all of this is possible and all of this is things that I should be doing. So within automations, this is really cool, you guys. If you load the snapshot that you get when you use my link to sign up for HighLevel, you'll get all these. It might look a little bit different since we're always updating it and making it better, but these are all the workflows. And let me show you guys what it looks like. So if we click click on one of them, you can see this is what the builder looks like. You're going to have a trigger. So this is going to be something that happens that triggers this automated workflow. So the trigger in this case is an opt-in claim form is submitted. If we click on this, you can see some more details. And then it's going to take you through this little pipeline. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And you can build your own custom workflows. That's a great part of HighLevel. Great thing is that it's very easy to build. It's super intuitive. But as you can see here, once this trigger, it's going to add them to the sales pipeline in the new lead stage. We can go ahead and change that if we want. There's all these things we can change. It's then going to email the client. We can then set a delay. So it's going to wait 5 minutes. It's going to send them an SMS. It's going to wait 3 minutes and then actually automatically call them. And as you can see, it takes them through this whole journey that's completely automated. So for every new lead that comes in, you can basically create a pretty advanced workflow that is going to really warm them up and make sure they actually convert from a lead into a paying customer. At any time, if you want to add a new step, we can click on this arrow button. There are tons of actions that we can choose from. So let's say we want to leave them a voicemail. We can click on this. We can upload a file and save that action, right? So you can get really creative with what types of workflows you build. Anytime you can look at the settings, you can see the enrollment history. So who went through this workflow, what stage they're currently at, and when the next execution is going to be. You can see there are so many workflow templates. So if you click on create workflow, we can either start from scratch or you can select from a recipe. So these are all basically going to be templates that have been pre-made. They have a lot of them. For example, a workflow to do a birthday promotion. So yeah, once it's someone's birthday, you can have a automation workflow be carried out. Let's go ahead and select this one. You can see what the trigger is, birthday reminder. It sends them an SMS. We can customize this and you can use something like this to use their first name. We can also add an attachment. We can send test SMSs, which I do recommend doing. And you can also see how many of these were delivered, how many people clicked. And yeah, this is a great way for beginners to really get started with these workflow automations because they're already built out for you. Once you sort of get the logic behind how these are built out, you can definitely create your own from scratch. As you can see, if you actually get a reply from them, there's a lot of logic that's built into HighLevel. It can understand if the intent of the reply was positive or yes. And it can also know if they don't want the offer, right? So if it is positive, then you can send a positive message. This could be something like, here's a link to book a call with us. But if those conditions are not met, you can say something like no worries. Now coming here to sites, yes, you can use GoHighLevel to create a website. You can use it to create funnels. So if you do use ClickFunnels, you can technically replace that with HighLevel. We can click on this one just to see one that has been built out. As you can see, there's so much functionality. It can get pretty advanced. You can do a split test, for example. We can create new funnels by clicking on here. We can either create from blank, you can use the funnel AI, or you can just choose from a template. So I'll show you guys some of their funnel templates. This just makes landing pages so easy. So for example, if I want to use this one, we can preview it here. We can add it to our favorites. If you want to use this one, we can go ahead and click continue. And once that's done, we'll click on this. We can build out the exact funnel here. And that's basically by adding new steps. If you want to build your website, you can absolutely do that here as well. We can click plus new website, choose from their templates. For example, this one, the website editor is quite easy to use. It's just like any other website editor. You click on things that you want to change. If you want to change any of this text or add text, we can change buttons, change the color, change the text on them. If you want to change this image, for example, we can click on it, choose from here. If you want to add new sections, we can click this green plus button. You can choose from all their template sections. So anything here, for example, let's say we want this, go ahead and drag that in here. You can remove a section just by clicking on this trash icon. Yeah, that's just a quick overview of the website builder. You can also have your blog here. We can do WordPress. We can create forms and surveys. So this is probably going to be pretty important for you guys using the form builder. They have tons of forms we can create from templates. For example, something like this one. Yeah, you do not need to be the designer. You can actually have zero design experience and build out a pretty solid landing page, website, forms, whatever it is. If you also want to host a course, you can do that within HighLevel. So this is going to replace something like Kajabi. Of course, all these platforms are a little bit different, so you can use those alongside HighLevel as well. But know that you can absolutely create as many courses as you want with just one membership. You can create communities too if you want to do that. You can also create certificates. So if people go through your course and you want to give them like a final exam or a certificate, whatever it is, you can absolutely do that. Reputation is also one that you guys can use. And this is basically a dashboard to collect reviews. We can send review requests really easily here. We can see all of our different reviews from different sources. Reporting is pretty self-explanatory. You guys can create different custom reports for different things. features. I'm not really going to cover this right here. And finally, we have the app marketplace. So of course, HighLevel has so much functionality that you probably won't need to use the marketplace apps. But if you want to integrate with other platforms that you're using or tools, you can do that here. If you want to add additional functionality, you can also do that here. But for most people, I'd say try and learn all the built-in functionality within HighLevel first. It can pretty much do everything you need. But of course, there's going to be some very specific or niche things that you might want to add later on. So there are third-party apps that you can download, many of them free here. And yeah, at some point, you're going to want to come here to settings, of course, and put in your logo, your business information. This is also important here under business services. We can manage our calendar. We can actually add conversation AI if we want. So these are bots that we can create. We can select our email services, manage all that here. You can get a HighLevel phone number, which is going to allow you to send SMS. Yeah, that's essentially a general overview of what HighLevel is, all the different features that you can start using today. And like I've mentioned in this video, you need to actually just get your hands dirty. You need to start actually clicking around, setting things up, and actually go from watching videos like this to doing it yourself. That is the #1 way to actually learn. Trust me, this happened to me. I watched so many videos. I still felt confused. It's all going to click once you actually get onto HighLevel and start playing around with it. And again, I'll have that exclusive link to that 30-day extended trial. Don't get that 14-day trial, you guys. Test it for a little bit longer. And also get my pre-built snapshots that I showed you guys in this video. It's going to make your life and setting up HighLevel a lot easier. So that's definitely what I recommend doing. I know we covered a lot, and I know that HighLevel is still a pretty advanced platform, at least compared to many other ones. So hopefully this video shows you that it's very doable. It's actually quite intuitive to learn and use. And when you go through the dashboard, get all those things connected and set up, and then go through those different tabs to see all the features, play around with that. And within a day or two, you're going to really know how to use HighLevel. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys got any value from the video, make sure to give it a like. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this. I do a ton of videos about entrepreneurship, finance, and investing, and it's all educational content to help you live a financially successful life. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.